In Hollywood, where glitz and glamour hides the darker realities, it is no surprise that Matthew Perry's death has some controversy surrounding it. But the details are just as heartbreaking as the news of his death at the age of 54. TMZ broke the devastating story of his passing as they reported that the actor's life was cut short when he was discovered lifeless at his Los Angeles residence. The cause of death was a hauntingly sorrowful one, a drowning incident in the tranquil waters of his backyard jacuzzi. A location that should have held so much peace was now the crime scene where the actor repeatedly took his last breath. The actor was discovered by his assistant who had earlier left the residence to carry out an errand. And when they returned, they had found the actor unresponsive, as painful as his death. Was it also left a lot of questions in the minds of his fans, friends, and loved ones, from fan tributes at the iconic apartment that was used in the sitcom Friends to messages from his co-cast members. The end of Everywhere, Farewell, held the question what exactly happened to Matthew Perry. By the time police arrived, it was too late to save him, requesting 2 additional units and a supervisor respond to Blill drive the sudden return. Matthew was found unresponsive in a hot tub in his home, and the investigation is still ongoing as the coroner's report states that there was no evidence of foul play. But the toxicology report has not been concluded just yet, however, as fans try to find solace in the reality. Since his death, some bizarre answers are bringing up even more questions. Just days before he passed, Matthew posted a photo on Instagram of himself relaxing in what is believed to be the same hot tub where he died. And that was eerie. But it was the post leading up to this that was really bizarre. For those who don't know, Matthew Perry had been on hiatus from social media for a few months before he suddenly came back to Instagram. His posts in the last few weeks leading up to his death were mostly vague. But when looking back at the pictures and captions from his Instagram account, it's almost too obvious that the actor was battling some thoughts before he died on Sunday, October 29th. Fans all over the world woke up to the heartbreaking news that Matthew Perry, aka Chandler Bing, had died at the age of 54. While the authorities are still investigating the circumstances of Matthew's death, some scary details are starting to trickle in, and fans are now analyzing Matthew's last Instagram post as they appear to hold some clues about this tragedy. According to TMZ on Friday morning, October 28th, Matthew was out playing pickleball for a couple of hours. When he returned to his LA area home, he sent his assistant out to run some errands. When the assistant returned, they found Matthew unresponsive in his backyard hot tub. The assistant then dialed 911 and reported cardiac arrest. While it's unclear whether Matthew was already dead at that point, by the time the paramedics arrived, nothing could be done. And sadly, Matthew was pronounced dead at the scene. According to the TMZ report, the police believed there was no foul play involved, and no drugs were found at the scene. However, the autopsy will show whether Matthew had any substances in his system, and the investigation is now underway. In the hours after Matthew was found dead, multiple police officers were seen marking off the area and setting up a white tent near the swimming pool and hot tub in the backyard. As night fell, Matthew's mom, Suzanne, his dad, John, and stepdad, Keith Morrison, rushed to their son's house, and they all seemed visibly shocked. Adding to the heartbreaking scene, a coroner's vehicle was spotted at the residence, highlighting the sadness shared by family, friends, and devoted fans. Just a week before his death, Matthew shared a sweet photo with his 82-year-old dad on Instagram, and showing his famous dry humor. Matthew wrote in the caption, "Here is me and my father John, both holding a beverage." However, there were a few other posts that Matthew shared in the days leading up to his death that appear to foreshadow the circumstances of his passing during the last week of his life. Matthew hinted at Batman in a series of pictures and videos. Some of these posts saw him playfully identifying as Batman, with his final picture shared 5 days prior to his tragic passing, depicting him in an outdoor jacuzzi where the unfortunate incident occurred. According to sources and first responders, No drugs were discovered at the scene, and there was no sign of foul play. In fact, a source informed People magazine that the late television sensation was merely having a good time with these posts and was leading a remarkably content life. And this was after several years of battling addiction health challenges and even a near-death experience. But fans believe that Matthew may have felt that he was lonely and on a never-ending mission like Batman. The last picture on his Instagram page was captured during the night with a midnight blue hue, featured the caption, "Oh, the soothing warmth of swirling water makes you feel good. I'm Matman" in the photograph. Matthew was comfortably seated in a corner of the tub, with oversized headphones on his head. The moon shone overhead as water rippled around him. Another recent post from his Instagram was a brief snippet of the radiant moon, with the caption, "Do you grasp my message? I'm Matman," and right before that there was an image of a lantern pumpkin bearing the Batman emblem. Matthew added the phrase, "Do you understand what I'm saying?" in the caption. But this isn't the first time that Matthew Perry has expressed his love for Batman, the final chapter of his memoir, Friends Lovers. And the big terrible thing is named after the iconic character in the book. He recounted his childhood fantasies of being Batman and his father. As Superman, he would humorously refer to an assistant as Alfred, while expecting to be addressed as Mr. Wayne. And if we want to believe that he was trying to live a life similar to Batman's, then we already know that he'd go to great lengths to find peace feeling spooked out, yet just wait until we get to the rest of it on October 18th. Matthew shared another nighttime shot featuring the illuminated Batman emblem in red lights. The caption read, "Rest. Well, everyone, I've got the city tonight," with the actor once again signing off as Matman. And aside from the last post in the hot tub, this has become one of the most heartbreaking posts on his page, because exactly 10 days later, the actor died on Sunday afternoon. After Matthew passed away, actress Selma Blair left a heartfelt message. "I've got the city tonight, Batman. I'm so heartbroken. I miss you, Maddie. Come find me." And fans all over the world feel exactly the same, as one fan said, all the Matman references being the Nolan's Batman fan. Matthew Perry was communicating with audience in the final chapter. Batman flies off into the oblivion, presumed dead, ending the life he built. But later he is found at peace with his loved ones. Hope Matthew Perry found peace. But there's even more to the story, the vaccine conspiracy. While fans grappled with the fact that Matthew's death may have been foreshadowed or maybe even planned by him, one corner of the internet held strongly to the belief that a conspiracy was at play in recent years. Some people who don't support vaccines have started making claims that unexpected deaths are linked to COVID vaccines. Even though there isn't strong evidence for their claims, they often use the hashtag "died suddenly" on social media to spread these false ideas. But this problem is not just on social media. In November 2022, a radio host named Stu Peters released a film called "Died Suddenly," which added to the misinformation. Even well-known figures like Tucker Carlson have talked about these claims, even when there isn't solid proof. The "Died Suddenly" movement often targets famous people, and their latest target is the deceased Matthew Perry. Even though we don't know why he passed away, yet as he was found unresponsive in a hot tub with no signs of foul play, there's absolutely no proof that it had anything to do with the co-vaccine. But within hours of the news, some people changed Matthew's Wikipedia page to suggest that the vaccine might be involved. They also started saying on social media that the actor's death was connected to the vaccine. One account affiliated with the movement wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, shortly after the news of Matthew's death, "Matthew Perry drowned in a hot tub. Or did he have a heart attack while in a hot tub? And at age 5 before boy, I wish I could figure out how this happened. What a mystery, died suddenly." And some of the posts got even darker, as another person said the late Matthew Perry was a big COVID vaccine advocate. He even sold t-shirts with "Can I be more vaccinated?" Well, he paid with his life. Died suddenly. Vaccine injuries. Pfizer lied. People died. But what's especially sad is that Matthew Perry has been open for a long time about his health issues, particularly his problems with drugs and alcohol in his 2022 book. He talked honestly about how these issues affected his health and led to surgeries and a medically induced coma. He wanted to share his story to help others, and he hoped that would be his legacy. It's especially nasty that a movement spreading false information is using his death for their cause, as one fan explained. He was a guy who suffered addiction for decades, and his heart just gave out. Not everything is a conspiracy theory, and not every death is because they were vaxxed. But the died suddenly movement is not to be convinced. People who believe in it often don't trust experts or official information. They think of themselves as truth tellers, even when they're spreading false stories. But the conspiracy theory couldn't get a proper route to trend because fans of the actor